Are you aware of what's an entorno VUCA? Because I wasn't. Can you see? I can read it. Vulnerability, uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. Because it's on the presentation, and I just saw it for the first time in my life. And I keep reading. I'm looking at their presentation, and it says habilidades. There are skills all the time, because it's habilidades, hard, soft skills, right?
Where did you see that acronym? What's the name of the file?
Shit. Fundatec Talento Ideas, and it's slide number 4. Fundatec Talento Ideas. There are 2 presentations for Fundatec. They're called 1 and 2. So it's the one that is Antonio Barbara. Slide number 2. I mean, it's like a part of the slide, but it's in the... I mean, all of the other words are really easy, so... I mean, it makes sense in the context. And all of the other words are very easy, but just that was very... And also, I think I have a bunch of figures for the NEET project in the Google Doc, but I don't think they're going to measure.
I'm just looking at this entorno VUCA thing, and in fact, it's the context. the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity is the context in which the companies are operating. Okay. Welcome back to Madrid Platform, everybody. We're in room 3 here with our afternoon session and a fascinating discussion that we had on Latin America earlier. And now to go into more depth about other challenges in the two contents. We now have the NEED program on the digital economy. We're going to have a number of different speakers now. We're going to start with a video from Antonio Retamero, who is the president of Fundatec. And then we're going to have Antonio Baba, who is the honorary patron and the ambassador of Fundatec, who is going to give us a discussion which is 7 ideas for employment for the future. And then we're going to have Juan José Aguirre, who is also an honorary patron and the ambassador of Fundatec for Latin America. And he's going to talk about new employment for the digital economy. And then we will have Javier Perianes will be speaking. He's the vice president of Fundatec. And this will be moderated by José Antonio Ruiz, who is the honorary patron and ambassador of Fundatec for the Algarve and Huelva. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of all of Fundatec, I would like to thank Madrid Platform for having invited us to this unique platform. There's a world full of hope for all, and we come with a very important initiative here with Fundatec. We've been working for more than 20 years in social projects, and we try to meet the needs of people with a whole variety of requirements, and we try and achieve the sustainable development goals. We think that these are a way of creating a new situation for humanity. Things need to change, and we don't ask what we have to do, but we ask with whom we can do what we are doing. We're a foundation that does things. So that's enough for my introduction now. I'm going to show a video in a moment. And this is of Antonio Retamero, who is the president of Fundatech. And in this video, you'll see our reach and some of our projects. So that's it. Now we're going to watch the video. Thank you.
Buenas tardes. Agradezco enormemente su asistencia y la de las personas que nos siguen en remoto. Y por supuesto, tenemos que agradecerle mucho tanto al Ayuntamiento de Madrid como a Madrid Platform que nos abren esta ventana para darnos a conocer al mundo empresarial latinoamericano y europeo. Fundatech nace en septiembre de 2000 y desde entonces venimos haciendo aporte social con la ayuda de nuestro gran equipo de profesionales que componen las personas de nuestro voluntariado en el patronato y empresas y alianzas que junto con nosotros hacen posible que se desarrollen nuestros proyectos. Hemos optado por tomar como guía para todos nuestros proyectos el cumplimiento de los 17 Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible y sus metas. Hemos desarrollado a lo largo de estos años muchísimos proyectos, esperamos seguir haciéndolo y en todos ellos hay un afán de ayudar a nuestra sociedad y sobre todo a colectivos más desfavorecidos que en muchos casos pueden estar en riesgo de exclusión sociolaboral. Nos vamos a centrar en dos proyectos que quiero esbozar porque mis compañeros van a explicar un poco más a fondo en las intervenciones que me siguen.
After my video presentation. So one of the projects is for digital
antes que nada estudia la
employment,
situación.
and it looks at the situation.
Hemos perdido el carro de avanzar en la economía digital.
We need to make progress in the digital economy.
Está a la cola, al menos en Europa,
and
en ese
Spain
ámbito.
is lagging behind in Europe in this area. And what we want to do is try and help, taking into account
a los colectivos en riesgo de exclusión y
populations that are at the risk of exclusion and people who are experiencing economic challenges. All of our, and now our other project, which seeks to overcome the digital divide that affects people aged over 45. And this project seeks to fill in this gap by giving these people training so that they can access the world of work, these people. And the other question is our efforts to find people who, with our assistance, will be able to find a job working as a freelance person or working in social economy projects or acting as entrepreneurs themselves. So I don't want to say any more here because my colleagues are going to give you more information about these projects. And I'd just like to thank you once again very well. Thank you very much for your attention. Well, I think we're going to start with our first speaker. This is the keys for employment for the future. Antonio Baba Galvez is here with us. He is the honorary patron and an ambassador of Fundotec for innovation and talent management. He is an expert in a number of areas in cybersecurity, in huge standards for IT as well, and he has an ability to identify what are the key factors to overcome the digital divide. So now you have the floor, Antonio Baba. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madrid Platform. I've been trying to, I know we've been trying to develop this project for years. I think we need to do this type of activity. And Madrid Capital has to do this. We're going to talk about talent. This is a word that has been repeated time and time again in recent years. Everyone's talking about talent, but as a concept, it's a term that emerged in 1997 when there was an author who spoke about the war for talent. And when you talk about a war, this was because there was a scarcity of something that everybody wanted. Although everybody wants has talent, but there is a reality that the talent that companies needed and the economy needed was scarce, and that's why we had this question of a war. So if we look at business schools, professional training organizations, what was being done was very far from what companies actually needed. And so, as a first idea, I'd like to highlight the fact that we're talking about this fictional war where big companies and small companies are fighting to achieve something that is essential, which is talent. And the second question I would like to mention is when we're talking about talent, we're talking about people. Yesterday and in previous times, organizations have always required people. There are no organizations without people. You need people who are suppliers, clients, who establish standards, who help us to develop our business. There is no organization that exists without people. And this is what we must never forget. This should be at the very heart of our organization and our strategy. And when we look at the 17 SDGs, we can see that they've all focused on people. Everything that is related to the economy from a social aspect places people at the heart of it. And that's how we end up being in this new phase that we're starting now. Now, the second phase is the dilemma. It's something that seems to be quite absurd. If we look at the offer of jobs that's available, the number of vacancies, there are thousands of jobs that do not find takers. And where are companies supposed to be looking for these people? Are they supposed to look under stones for these people? But this is because the people that are not suitably trained for the jobs that exist. And then the other half of the equation is that we have thousands of people. In Spain, it's nearly 6 million people who are looking for a job. And they don't find work. So something is not right. We're doing something wrong. We can't have 6 million people unemployed and thousands of jobs that don't find takers. And in Europe as a whole, there are millions of jobs that do not find someone to take them. And so how are we going to close this divide? We have projects, and we're not going to close this gap on our own with one project. There needs to be a lot more people working in this, but we believe that there is a route to follow And that's between, we need to look at what companies need and what the worker needs and try and close the gap between them. And as our president said, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're creating fixed open-ended contract jobs that you keep for the rest of your life. This is come pretty much to an end. What we are creating is that the person could develop their own job. They could carry out their own activity in a number of ways. They could be an entrepreneur, they could be freelance, they could work in interim. Because what we need to look at is what companies need. Because I could sell my service as a freelance worker, or I could sell my service through the company that I've founded. And we often talk about companies, but we also have other organizations that could recruit people, such as NGOs, foundations, public institutions. There are lots and lots of areas where people could offer their services. And obviously, few people work just for the love of work. We do this because we get paid to do it. Now, why are we having this gap? We think that there are three main reasons. One is the context. The world has changed. Everybody knows the model which we've seen in the American economy has now become around the world, this idea of the VUCA, of vulnerability, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Now, we've lived through change. There's always been change. But they say, no, we're in a period of change. No, we're in a change of era. No, but there's always been change. Because ever since we lived in caves through to today, we've obviously evolved and we've changed a lot. But in the last 100 years, the speed of the change has become so fast that our ability to adapt to the change is creating greater difficulties. And this is what we need to do, is we need to learn to live with this constant, rapid change. The rapidness of it is the new feature. Organizations have changed as well because consumers have changed. Because when we get into an aeroplane today, nobody wants to pay 3,000 euros for a flight to Paris. Everybody wants to travel for 50 euros or whatever, 150 euros. And so this means that the whole value chain of the company has had to change in order to offer this possibility of travel to Paris for 50 euros. And so everything has had to be revised. And similarly, this new organization means that technology has taken over a lot of roles. And lots of people say, well, robots are going to take away a lot of jobs. And it's true that all technological advances create more jobs than they destroy. They do destroy jobs, that's true, but they actually end up creating more jobs than they have destroyed. With robotics, with digital transformation, we will see this. So we need to look at how we use technology to do things. And organizations have to adapt to what their customers want. Customers want the product in my house tomorrow and at a minimum cost. And if I have to wait 3 months for... I might have wanted to once pay 100 euros for something and receive it in 3 months. Now I want to pay 3 euros for it and receive it next day in my house. And so there is a whole series of changes, and people need to be prepared to adopt these, take on these new roles. And also there's new habits and new skills. We are, I'm going to say something that might sound a bit critical here. We always say that we have the best trained generation, but they are the best trained for the previous century. But actually in the 21st century, these people aren't actually the best trained because the training hasn't adapted to the reality of the 21st century.
Entonces, algo hemos hecho mal.
So we've
Hemos dado
done
una
something
formación
wrong because we've still got very high levels of
conocimiento,
unemployment.
de información, de cosas que las personas no necesitan.
And so what we've done is we've trained people to do things that they don't need to
Hoy en
do.
día es capaz de conseguir información a través de la tablet, todos los días consigue información y no necesita saber determinadas cosas que todavía le obligan a memorizar en el
But
colegio.
so in fact, what we're doing in schools, for example, is we're requiring people to learn things off by heart, which in fact they can now find in a tablet or from Google in 5 seconds. And so we need to what we're training young people to do is very far from the needs that we have for them as in society.
Por las que se produce ese gap.
So what's caused all of this?
La primera, las necesidades son, es decir, ¿qué es lo que
First,
necesita una persona
the need
para
to
ofrecer un servicio
compete. What does
a las
a
organizaciones?
person need in order to offer their services to an
Voy a ir de
organization?
ritmo.
Okay, I'm going to speed things
¿Qué
up.
necesitan las personas para en esta nueva época?
What do people need
Hemos pasado de
in
una
this
época
new
donde
time and age?
antes los trabajadores en general
Before,
eran competitivos. Se
workers
buscaba un entorno
in general
de
were
competitividad.
competitive. They were
Hoy eso,
in a
realmente,
competitive
en una
environment.
organización donde haya esa competitividad o esa
Nowadays,
competencia entre
an
trabajadores,
organization
no
where
llegan a
there's
nada.
this
¿Por qué?
type of
Porque, primero,
competitivity
es
amongst
imposible que un
workers
trabajador conozca
is not
todo de todo.
able to
Necesita trabajar en equipo.
get anywhere.
La habilidad de
A
trabajar en
worker
equipo
needs to be
ahora
able
empiezan
to
a trabajarse en el
work in
colegio
a
algo,
team.
pero
Those
no se ha
skills are
trabajado en
now
España.
being
Salvo el que haya podido estar
taught
en un equipo de fútbol,
in a school.
un equipo de deporte o en alguna
Unless someone
organización
has
que haya
been
tenido que
able
trabajar.
to
En
be
las
part
escuelas
of a
se ha
sports team,
trabajado desde la perspectiva
but
de
in schools,
crear competencia entre los propios alumnos, a ver quién saca mejores notas, a ver quién.
children have been
mundo que
trained
estamos,
to
no el del
compete
futuro, el de hoy,
amongst each other to get the
que
better
tienen personas que
grades,
sean capaces
for
de
instance.
colaborar.
But
La
we need now
colaboración
are people
que
who
no es
are
solamente
capable of
entre las
collaborating
personas,
with
sino incluso
others.
entre las empresas. Es decir,
Not
hoy
only should
pocas empresas se
people
pueden
collaborate
permitir
with
el
each
lujo de
other
decir,
within
yo
the
voy
same
sola
company,
a
but
cualquier cosa.
different companies should be
Necesito
able to
un montón de gente a mi
collaborate
alrededor
with other
colaborando
companies.
conmigo. Proveedores, gente que me
Suppliers,
presta servicios de cualquier tipo, los propios clientes
service
son mis
companies,
colaboradores. ¿Por qué? Porque el propio
customers
cliente me
are
está haciendo
also
una
my
labor comercial
collaborators
importantísima.
because
Entonces,
a
esas
customer may be doing
habilidades
a
soft, que
commercial
pueden ser
work
trabajo en
for
equipo,
me.
que puede ser la empatía, que puede ser el ser capaz de
Other skills
aguantar
can be
la presión,
empathy,
vivir
being
un
able
mundo de mucha
to
presión,
work under
que
pressure,
sea el ser flexible,
being flexible,
el que
being
sea
able
uno
to
resistente
adapt,
al fracaso. El
being
fracaso,
resilient in
evidentemente,
the face
a
of
nadie le
failure.
gusta. Cuando a veces se dice, no, es que de los fracasos se aprende. A mí no me gusta aprender de los fracasos. Los fracasos forman parte
Saying that
consustancial
one
del
can
ser
learn
humano.
from one
Vamos a
of
fracasar
his
y
failures.
porque hemos
Well,
fracasado en muchas cosas,
no one
hemos
wants
sido
to
capaces
fail.
de aprender cosas. Pero lo importante no es fracasar, lo importante es aprender
The important
del
part is
fracaso.
not the
Y de ese
failure,
fracaso
it's the
sacar
learning
consecuencias.
process.
Y para eso tenemos que tener esa habilidad
We need
de
to
saber reponernos
have
y
that
saber
ability to be able to
sobrellevar esa
resist and
situación.
overcome
Luego,
a situation
todas
of
esas
failure.
habilidades son
All of
esenciales.
those
En la escuela no
skills
se están
are
enseñando,
essential and are
no se
not being
enseña
taught
a
in
trabajar en
school.
equipo, no se enseña a buscar información.
Teamwork
Digo,
is not
ahora en
taught.
algunos colegios algo más, pero no se está habituado a eso. No se
Also,
enseña a trabajar en equipo,
research is
no
not
se
being
te
taught.
enseña
Well,
a
maybe now
trabajar
a
de
little
forma
bit.
colaborativa, no se enseña la
Collaborative work
empatía hacia el
is not being
compañero.
taught.
Es decir,
Empathy for
todas esas
the other
serie de
classmate
habilidades
is
es
not
lo que
being
nosotros
taught.
desde el proyecto NID queremos
All of
enseñar a
those sets
las
of
personas y
skills
estamos
is
enseñando. Es decir,
what we
a
want to
trabajar
teach
de una
people
forma
at the NEED
distinta. Y
project
para eso tienes
to
que
help
trabajar
them
por
work
partes.
together.
Es un americanismo, un anglicismo, ¿no? Lo del soft, la parte blanda. ¿vale?
The soft
Pero también
word
evidentemente hace
is
falta
a
la
word
parte,
used in English,
la parte
but
dura.
we also need the hard part,
Conocimientos que son distintos. Necesitamos una serie de
different
conocimientos
skills.
que son muy diferentes.
A
Pero hay una
certain set of
diferencia
skills that is
con
very
relación a
different.
tiempo atrás.
I would
Hoy
like
los
to make a
conocimientos, a
comparison
golpe de
to
ratón y en el móvil tenemos una
time
cantidad
before.
enorme de conocimientos.
right now,
Con lo
just
cual,
at the click
lo que
of a
tenemos que
mouse,
enseñar
we
es a
have
las personas
access
decir,
to a
yo
huge
tengo un
amount of
problema,
information.
puedo acceder a internet y puedo encontrar
We teach people
mucha
that
información.
if you have an issue, you can
Mucha
go
información,
into the
mucha,
internet and
entonces,
find
todo
a
eso
lot of
lo
information.
tengo que buscar, tengo capacidad de hacerlo. Y eso tenemos que
I
enseñarlo
must
también.
have
Es
the
decir,
capacity
¿cómo
to
puedes
find
conseguir
that
la
information.
A veces,
We need
de
to
una
teach
forma
this,
reglada, que yo
how
creo que hay
you
que
can gain that
orientarla de muchas
information.
maneras, es decir, y hay que cambiar mucho la formación reglada, pero también de una forma menos reglada, que es la posibilidad de acceder a Internet, la posibilidad de acceder a un conocimiento que tenemos.
There are different
Y
ways
esa
to
es,
acquire
como hemos
training,
dicho,
not
otra de
only
las ideas que
through
nosotros basamos todo lo que
regular
luego
education, but
hablaremos
also
de
through internet searching and being able to teach ourselves. Are we in time?
Con dos frases
Just 2 more
rápidamente.
sentences.
La
I'll be
siguiente,
fast.
metodología. Los
Methodology.
métodos son esenciales, han cambiado. Es decir, hoy
Methods
la
are
gente no está
essentials.
dispuesta a esperar
They have changed.
la persona no está dispuesta a esperar miles de horas para que tener algo.
People are no
Trabajamos
longer
con la metodología
willing
ágil, es
to
decir,
wait
el
thousands of
concepto
hours
de
to get
iteración de
something.
es mejor tener algo hoy que funcione a
It's
tener
better
algo
to have
precioso
something
dentro de
now
5
that
años
works
que a
than
lo
have
mejor
something
funcionará muy bien, pero que no es lo
beautiful
que nos
5 years
interesa.
from now that might work
Hay que
too,
trabajar
but
esa
we're not ready
metodología,
to
que es
wait
una de las cosas que
anymore.
también tenemos en marcha dentro del proyecto NET. Y por último, crear.
And
Es
lastly,
decir, hay que conseguir
creation.
que la persona tenga la situación de decir,
Creativity.
esto se hace así,
We need
pero lo puedo hacer
people
de otra manera.
to
Crear esa
be able
curiosidad,
to know
crear
that
esa
things can be
ambición
done in a
de
certain way,
intentar
but you
hacer las
can
cosas de otra manera.
also
Que no quiere
find
decir
a
que
different
todo
way
se haga de
to
otra
do
manera,
things.
pero hay que tener esa curiosidad. Si no tuviéramos esa curiosidad,
People
las
need
tablas no
to
existirían,
have that
no
ingenuity.
existirían las mesas y las sillas quizás sí, pero los ordenadores no hubieran existido, los coches no existirían. Es decir, necesitamos seguir invirtiendo en
We need
innovación y en
to
creatividad.
keep investing
Pues
in
la cosa es que
innovation
ahí
and
sabemos que hay
creativity.
una situación que eso es inversión, es decir, la inversión no siempre es
That's
rentable,
the investment.
pero
Investment
a
is not
largo
always
plazo
profitable,
siempre será
but
rentable.
in the long
Y si
term, it
conseguimos que
will
nuestro país
always
invierta
be
mucho más
profitable.
en
That's why we need
creatividad y
our
en
country
innovación, seremos
to
mucho más
invest in
rentables.
creativity and innovation, and
Y
that
les
will make
agradezco
us
mucho la atención.
much more profitable.
Luego
I would like
tendremos
to
un tiempo de coloquio,
thank
creo.
you all for your attention, and then we have a
Venga,
time for
muchas gracias.
questions. Thank you.
Bueno, pues muchas gracias por tu atención, Antonio.
Thank you,
Os voy a dejar
Antonio.
ahora con Juan José Aguirre Muñoz de Morales,
I'll now
que es
give
el
the
patrón de
floor
honor,
to Juan
embajador
José
de Fundatec
Aguirre
para
Muñoz,
Latinoamérica.
who
Una
is an
persona
ambassador
muy
for
vinculada durante
Fundatec.
toda su vida al sector petroquímico,
He's always
que
been
además ha estado en
related to
cargos de
the
responsabilidad en temas de compras y de
petrochemical
gestión
world.
de,
He's been in charge
de
of
proveedores en toda
buying
Latinoamérica y es un gran experto en
supply,
el tema del avance de la,
supplier
sobre la
management.
brecha digital.
And he knows
Y
a
nos va a
lot
hablar
about the
del nuevo
digital
empleo para la
gap, and he's going to
economía
talk to us
digital
about
y por qué.
the new employment
Os dejo
for the
con
digital
Juan José Aguirre.
economy. Juan José Aguirre.
No se te oye. Ahora.
We can hear him
A ver.
now.
Buenas
Sí,
tardes.
sí, ahora. Buenas
Yes.
tardes.
Muchas gracias a Radio Plafón y a todos ustedes por su asistencia, tanto a los que están
Thank
de
you,
modo presencial
everyone on
como a
the
todos
platform.
aquellos que están viéndonos a través de streaming. Permítanme esta tarde que les hable de nuestro proyecto NET, acrónimo de Nuevo Empleo para la Economía Digital.
Allow me to talk
Proyecto
today
creado
about
y
the
liderado por
NEED
Fundatec,
project,
que vamos a poner en marcha
funded by Fundatec.
en alianza con algunas de las empresas
We'll
que
start
forman
working
parte de
with
nuestro
some
patronato
of the companies
y con el
that
mecenazgo de
belong
entidades como
to
las
our
cámaras de comercio,
transport,
CONTIC,
together with
SICOT
the
y
Chamber of
Andalucía Digital,
Commerces
entre otros.
and other companies.
Vamos a ver cuál es el reto digital en la era post-COVID.
Let's see what's the digital challenge in
No
the
es posible
post-COVID
hablar de
era.
transformación digital, de economía de los datos,
It's not
de
possible to
los
talk
cambios que vienen
about it
con
and
una forma que nos va a afectar a nuestra forma de
about
vida
the
y a
future
la forma de
changes
trabajar, sin tener en cuenta el escenario actual de pandemia en el que
without
pasamos
taking
y estamos
into
viviendo en todo el
account the
mundo.
current pandemic context.
El mundo se enfrenta a una situación de crisis sin
The
precedentes
world is facing
a la que
an
ningún país antes se había preparado
unprecedented
para ello.
crisis that no
Sin
country had been
embargo, antes
prepared
de la
for.
pandemia, ya estábamos inmersos en una revolución
However,
tecnológica,
before the
social y
pandemic, we were
cultural
already
que lo está
facing
transformando todo
a
profundamente,
technological
de
revolution that
forma
had
que está
transformed
afectando a cómo nos
everything,
comunicamos, cómo nos relacionamos,
that has
cómo
changed the
trabajamos
way we
y cómo
relate.
aprendemos y disfrutamos. Es cierto que durante estos últimos 12 meses, con la pandemia,
I feel that for the last
se
few
ha
months
producido un caos
of the
que ha
pandemic,
acelerado
there's been a chaos.
todo este proceso disruptivo de transformación. Para que se hagan ustedes una
The
idea,
interpreter apologizes, but the
en el
sound quality does not
periodo de
allow us
máximo
to provide a quality
confinamiento
service.
comprendido entre el 15 de marzo y finales de mayo de 2020, en España trabajaban hasta esa fecha el 4,3% de personas de forma remota, haciendo teletrabajo. Esto es algo así como 800.000 personas que trabajaban 1 o 2 días en semana.
There was a large
Pues bien,
number
durante
of
esa
people in
época,
Spain that worked for only
la demanda
a
de
few hours
consumo
a
de
week.
fibra óptica aumentó hasta picos
The demand
de un
for
80%.
optic
Hubo un
fiber
momento donde
increased by
teletrabajaban 10
80%.
millones de personas en España. y a final del año 2020,
In
con
the year
datos del INE,
2020,
nos
with
dicen
data
que están
from
trabajando en forma
the
remota
Statistic National Institute,
16% de la población activa, en torno a unos 3 millones.
16% of
Esto quiere
active
decir que se ha producido
population
un
are working
incremento del
remotely. That means that there
74%
has
de
been
gente
a
que ha pasado a trabajar
huge increase of
en
people
forma
that
de
have started to
teletrabajo.
work remotely.
Está claro que durante estos meses de la pandemia,
It's
la
obvious that
tecnología
during these few
nos
months
ha
of the
permitido
pandemic, the
trabajar,
technology
nos ha permitido
has allowed
estudiar,
us to
enseñar,
work, study,
conectar, comprar,
teach,
acompañar, pero sobre
buy,
todo ha habilitado a
keep
todos
company,
aquellos
but has
que estaban en primera
especially
línea y que estaban
habilitated
prestando servicios inconmensurables a nuestra
everyone
sociedad.
that was working the first line and providing
Vamos a hablar un poco de
invaluable
la brecha digital.
services. Let's talk
Si la
about the
crisis
digital gap.
sanitaria ha marcado un claro punto de inflexión en la
If the health
digitalización
crisis
de muchos
has
sectores
been
económicos
a
de nuestro
turning
país,
point for many economic
pensamos que
sectors in our
2021 va
world,
a ser un año clave
we
en el
believe that
futuro inmediato de la
2021 will be
recuperación económica y social.
a key year for the
Pero
recovery
este
at the
virus
social and
ha hecho
economic
saltar por
levels.
los aires el
But
modo de vida que
this
nosotros mismos nos
virus
habíamos
has
dado
completely blown
y ha
up
puesto de
our
manifiesto
mode of
y ha
life.
desnudado algunas de las carencias
It
y
has
retos a los que nos
made
tenemos que
clear
enfrentar.
some of the lackings that
Una
we are
extrema desigualdad
facing.
en el reparto de la riqueza en muchos países.
Inequality
La
in
desigualdad enorme
the
que hay
balance
en
of
distintos
wealth
sistemas públicos de salud
between different
y una emergencia
public
climática
health
sin
systems
precedentes en el planeta.
and a
Uno
climate
de los mayores
crisis that
daños
is
y desafíos
unprecedented
que puede hacer
in our
la
planet.
transformación digital es la inclusión.
Inclusion is one of
Por
the
eso, Fundatec, en nuestro proyecto
biggest
NI, una de las cosas que
things that
pretendemos
can
es
be
cerrar la brecha digital para conseguir
done with technology. Through
que con la
Fundatec, we want to close
digitalización
the
podamos
digital
evitar la
gap
creación de una sociedad de
so
dos
that we
velocidades,
can
la de
prevent
aquellos que pueden adaptarse a la nueva era digital y los que no pueden.
the break between the breach
Uno de los grandes
between those who
retos
want to adapt and those who
es,
can't.
pasamos a la siguiente transparencia, por favor. Algunas de las cosas que están pasando,
Next slide, please.
la pandemia ha
One of
acelerado
the
de
things
forma
that are
imparable el
happening,
proceso de digitalización,
the
pero
pandemic
ha
has
desnudado algunas
completely
de nuestras fortalezas y también debilidades.
shown some of our strengths
Destacamos
and
por las
weaknesses.
fortalezas en infraestructura.
Strengths in
Nuestro país
infrastructure.
tiene la red de banda ancha más amplia
Our
y
country
robusta de
has
toda Europa.
the biggest
Estamos a la
broadband,
cabeza en cuanto a conectividad digital,
the best
con
broadband in Europe.
infraestructuras de primer nivel. 3
Our
de cada 4
infrastructures
hogares
are
tienen
first
fibra
level.
óptica
One
y
in
un alto
4
porcentaje
homes
de usuarios de
has
Internet,
optic
9 de cada
fiber
10. Pero
and
sin
9 out
embargo,
of 10
estamos a la cola
internet users.
en Europa
However,
en
we're
cuanto a capacitación
lagging
digital
behind
de
in Europe
nuestros
regarding
profesionales.
digital
Por ejemplo, en habilidades
capabilities
digitales,
in
apenas
our
la mitad de las personas de
workers.
entre 16
In
y
digital
74
abilities,
años
only
poseen
half of those
capacidades
between
digitales
16
básicas.
and 76
Otra
years all
debilidad
have
es la
basic digital
escasa madurez
capabilities.
de la transformación digital que
Another
tienen las
one
pymes.
is the
Por
low
tanto,
level of digital maturity of
estamos en un
SMEs.
proceso en el que es necesario e imprescindible
We're in a
acelerar
midst
la
of a
industria
process where we need to accelerate
en el proceso de
the
digitalización, pero
industry
sobre todo
in
a las
the
pymes y
digitalization
autónomos.
process, especially for
Las
SMEs.
empresas, estamos seguros que las empresas que primero van a salir de esta
We're
crisis
sure that some of
serán
the
las más
companies that will
innovadoras, las que
first
tengan
come out of the
un mayor
crisis will
grado
be
de
those who
madurez
are the most
digital
innovative,
y aquellas más disciplinadas y que sean capaces y
and
rápidas
those who are
en
most
implementar sus nuevos
disciplined and
modelos
will
de
be
negocio para adaptarlos a la
faster and
nueva
quicker to adapt their
situación.
business model to the
Vamos a ver
new
las necesidades
situation.
de un cambio de modelo.
Let's look at the need for a change of model.
Estamos en una situación donde todo es
We are
un caos
in a
acelerado
situation where
como
everything is a
consecuencia de la
chaos
pandemia
that's been
y
accelerated
donde
because of the
todo lo que está
pandemic,
sucediendo es
and
una
where
especie de prueba
everything
piloto
that
para
is
el devenir
happening seems to
de
be
todas aquellas cosas
a
que vendrán en los próximos meses
trial
o años.
to prevent those things
De lo
that
que
will
estamos
happen in a
seguros es
few
que el mundo es
years.
digital.
But what we are sure
Vivimos
of
en
is
una
that the world
hipersociedad
is digital.
conectada por datos,
We
en lo
live
que
in a
todo
society that is
sucede muy
connected by
rápidamente.
data, where everything is
Y
happening very
esta
quickly.
disrupción digital en la que vivimos
And this digital
tiene
revolution
capacidad
we're living in
suficiente para
has
hacer volar por los
enough
aires el
capability
modelo de
to
negocio y
blow away
mercados
the business
tradicionales
model of
y que nunca
traditional
antes
markets
pensábamos que podía terminar
that we had
así.
never before thought
Por
that
eso
could
en el
happen
siglo
that way.
XXI
That's why in the 21st
necesitamos
century,
respuestas
we need
y
answers.
soluciones para resolver
We
los
need
problemas
answers
del siglo
and
XXI.
solutions to solve the problems
Para
of the
entender esto
21st
bien,
century.
hemos de entender y saber que la revolución en la que estamos
we need
inmersos
to understand
no
that
es
the
una revolución
revolution
tecnológica,
we're in the midst
solo.
of is not just a
Es una revolución
technological
social
one,
que
it's a
está
social
transformando todo
revolution
a
that
una
is
velocidad de
transforming
vértigo,
everything
siendo el pilar
at the
fundamental
speed of light.
y motor de esta disrupción
The
la
fundamental
conectividad
pillar of
y la
this
gestión de
disruption
datos.
is connectivity and data
El mundo
management.
está cambiando muy rápido
The
y de
world
una
is
forma u otra
changing
nosotros
very
estamos
quickly,
cambiando con
and
él.
in one way or another,
Para que
we
se
are
hagan una idea,
changing with it.
el dato de 2021, presupuesto de la Unión Europea
The
presentado
budget
por la
for
Comisión
2021
al
that was
Parlamento
presented
Europeo
by
en
the
2021,
Commission to
que el
the European
40% del
Parliament,
PIB de la Unión Europea procederá de actividades digitales.
40% of the
Se
GDP will
crearán
come from
4
digital
empleos
activities.
digitales este año por cada 5 no digitales.
4 digital
Y advierte la
jobs will be
Comisión
created for every
que
5
todos aquellos
non-digital ones.
empleos, todas aquellas personas que se dediquen a la actividad digital
And
verán incrementadas sus
the
remuneraciones
people who work on
salariales
digital works will see
por
their
un diferencial de un
salaries
30% en los próximos
increase
10
by,
años respecto a otras actividades.
30% in the next
Por
years
tanto, está claro
compared to other
que lo
activities that
digital
are
ha de ser la hoja de ruta
non-digital.
que acerque a nuestras empresas en el camino
So
y tránsito hacia la
digital
nueva
should
economía.
help our
Vamos a
companies
hablar
into
de la
into the
sociedad
transformation
digital
into the
justa.
new economy. Let's talk about the digital
Hasta
society.
ahora, las empresas han vivido completamente
Up until
desconectadas de
now,
lo
the
social.
companies have lived
Solo pensaron en
completely
consumidores y en sus
disconnected
accionistas. Sin embargo,
besides their
el COVID
investors and
ha sido
their
la prueba de contraste que nos
stockholders.
ha permitido ver
However,
cosas que antes
COVID
no veíamos o no
has
queríamos
allowed
ver.
us to see things that
Las
we
compañías
didn't or
no
didn't want
solo
to
han de
see
dar
before.
respuestas a sus
Companies should not
consumidores, que cada vez somos
only
más
answer
exigentes,
to their
también ya
consumers,
a sus inversores,
but also to
que
their
ahora
investors.
valoran cada vez más y ven
Investors who
con
are
sus ojos
increasingly valuing
mejor las inversiones sociales.
social
De
investments.
hecho, para que se hagan una idea, el 77% de las empresas del IBEX 35
77% of companies in
tienen ya en su
IBEX
cuenta el
35
impacto ambiental a la
take
hora de
into,
elegir sus proveedores.
take into
Y el
account
68% el
environmental
impacto
impact
social.
when choosing
Son las pymes las que están más
their
retrasadas.
suppliers. It's
La
SMEs
sociedad
the
es
ones who
ahora
are
más
lagging behind.
sensible a lo que hacen las empresas, no solo
Society
por
is
la
now more
presión, por la
sensitive
presión
to
de los
what
consumidores,
companies are doing.
también por la presión del gobierno, de los propios
Not
inversores
only because of the
y de
pressure of the
organismos
consumers, but also
multilaterales como
pressure
puede ser el
by
Banco Central
other
Europeo,
investors,
OCDE, OMT,
governments,
etcétera,
the
etcétera.
ECB, etc.
En la nueva normalidad, el mundo que vendrá será una mezcla
In the
de
new
varios
normal,
valores.
the world will
Estará
be
por un lado el
a
valor de lo
mix
digital,
of different values. We'll have the
el valor
digital
green,
model,
sostenible,
the digital
el
value, the
valor fair, el
green
valor de la
value,
equidad, del mundo más justo,
the
y el
fair
valor together, el de la comunidad,
value,
el de
and the
todos
together
juntos.
value of
La
community.
mezcla de todos estos valores,
The mix of all of these
de
values,
todos estos ingredientes, el digital, el sostenible, la equidad, la comunidad,
digital,
más alguna
sustainability,
variable de la antigua
community,
economía como es la eficiencia,
and some
van a
variables
dar
coming
lugar
from the old economy,
a
such
una
as
base que va a ser
efficiency,
el nuevo mundo, donde lo
will
digital
yield
y
a
lo
new
sostenible
world
van a
where
formar
digital
parte de un
and
tándem indivisible
sustainable will
y va a
be
dar lugar a la nueva economía para que
an
la nueva
indivisible
normalidad
unit
pueda
that
ser
will
llamada una
become
buena
the
normalidad.
new economy, so that the new normal can be called the
Como
good
ejemplo les pongo una
normal.
encuesta del World Economic Forum
For
en la cumbre de
instance,
Davos en 2019, donde 3 de cada 5 CEOs de las principales empresas
2
del
out
mundo
of 3
afirmaron
CEOs of the
que el
most relevant countries
40%
in the
del
world
valor de
stated
capitalización
that
bursátil de sus empresas
40% of
provenía
the
directamente de
value
la marca
of their
corporativa
companies
y de la
came from the
reputación
corporate brand
pública que tienen como empresa.
and their public image as
No
companies.
sé si me escuchas. Que estamos,
Sí.
estamos entrando ya en tiempo. Hay que
We are
abreviar un
running out
poquito.
of time. We need to
Vale,
summarize.
vamos a hablar muy resumidamente de NIT.
Let's talk about NEED very fast.
NIT es un proyecto liderado por Fundatec
NEED is a
que tiene un
project led
compromiso con
by
el talento
Fundatec
como
that
motor
is
de cambio en
committed
la
to
economía y
talent
la sociedad,
as
para
a
asegurar una transición digital enfocada en las personas e impulsar así la
as
empleabilidad
a
de los
promoter of
profesionales
change
a través
to
de la formación en competencias y habilidades
encourage the
digitales.
training in digital
Con NIT
abilities for
analizamos con
workers.
perspectiva de futuro la necesidad de que
And NEED,
competencias
we
digitales
analyze, looking into the future, what are the skills that will be needed by the
El programa está orientado
workforce.
hacia el emprendimiento,
The
como
program
modelo
is
generador de
focused
nuevos
on
puestos de trabajo para romper la brecha
entrepreneurship
digital existente
to
en nuestro
create
modelo laboral
new
actual,
job models that
fijándose como
adapt
objetivo
to
el
the
cumplimiento
digital
del
needs of the
5
new
de los
market.
17 objetivos de desarrollo sostenible
We
que
followed
podemos
the
ver en la
goals
pantalla.
of the Sustainable
El
Development
objetivo
Goals,
1, fin
Goal
de la pobreza.
1 and the
El 4,
poverty,
educación de calidad.
4 quality
El
education,
5, igualdad de género.
5 gender equality,
Y el de trabajo decente
decent work,
y crecimiento económico.
and
También el
economic
10
growth,
es la
and also
reducción de la
the 10th
discriminación social.
reduction of inequality.
Básicamente lo que pretendemos con NID
What we
es
pretend
acercar y
with
adaptar la era
NEED
digital a los
is
miles de
to
trabajadores que
adapt
se
the
han visto
digital era to the
alcanzados por ella.
thousands of workers
Lo
that were
haremos
left
a
behind.
través de la formación,
And
como
we're going
decía
to do
Antonio
so by
antes,
training, as Antonio said
de
before,
formación en habilidades
the
hard y
training in
habilidades
hard
soft,
and
las que no
soft
voy a entrar
skills.
aquí. Sí que vamos a hacer un plan de outplacement transformacional
We're going
para
to
que pymes y
do
pequeñas
a plan
empresas
of
puedan
outplacement,
recolocar a
so
parte de sus colectivos
SMEs
que
and
podrían quedar excluidos del mundo laboral.
SMEs can place some of the groups that will be excluded from
Voy
the
a explicar
working world.
finalmente por qué NER es un proyecto diferente.
I'm going to explain why
Fundamentalmente
NEED is a
porque
different
pensamos que la
project.
clave para liderar
Because we
consiste en
believe
establecer
that the
diferencias
key
para
for
generar riqueza en un
leadership
sentido
is to
amplio, desde el
establish
punto de vista educativo,
differences
ético,
to
moral,
generate
sostenible y
wealth
también económico.
in a
Por ello,
wide
en Fundatec hemos
way.
identificado algunas
That's why
acciones
in
que han tenido
Fundatec
éxito en países
we
que están
identify
liderando este
some
tipo de proyectos.
actions that were
Vamos a
successful
fomentar
in
la cultura del
countries
aprendizaje
that were
continuo,
successful.
de actualización permanente, de la formación continua,
Permanent
o del
training,
lifelong learning, como se llama ahora,
or lifelong
a lo
learning,
largo de toda la vida
as it's being
profesional
called
del
now,
trabajador, que hace cumplir los 5 objetivos de desarrollo, el
that will
1, el
help
4, el 5,
fulfill
el 8 y
the
el 10.
5
Vamos a
sustainable
impulsar
development
también
goals
el
that I
aprendizaje
mentioned
online,
before.
a
We're going
través
to
de píldoras
promote
formativas
online
con 3
learning
niveles de dificultad
through
en función de los conocimientos
training pills
previos
with
y
3 levels of
previamente
difficulties
prácticos, a
depending
través
on the
de la
previous
participación
knowledge.
de las empresas que forman parte de nuestro patronato.
Through the participation of
Vamos a
companies that are
fomentar
part
las
of our
formas de
board
trabajo
of trustees.
alternativas, deslocalizadas
We're going to
geográficamente, en un modelo
promote
denominado
alternative
Digital First, Global
workways
First,
through
y que,
digital
por
trends.
ejemplo, vamos a apostar por el teletrabajo sostenible.
We'll promote
Vamos a apostar también
remote
por nuevos
sustainable
modelos de
work.
trabajo
We'll
surgidos a
also
consecuencia de
encourage
la pandemia
new models
y
of
de la
work
revolución
that arise
tecnológica,
from the
para
pandemic
que
and the
estos sean
technological
flexibles,
revolution,
den una oportunidad a la igualdad
so
y a
that
la
they can be
inclusión.
flexible and offer an opportunity
En
for
estos momentos
equality
de
and
claroscuro,
inclusion.
lo que pretendemos con este proyecto es convertir
In
esta gran
these
amenaza
dark times, we pretend
en
to
una
turn this
oportunidad para
huge threat
aprender,
into an opportunity to learn
desaprender y adaptarnos
and
a la
learn
nueva
and
realidad,
adapt to the new
a una
normal.
nueva normalidad.
Muy bien, Juanjo. Muchas
Thank you,
gracias.
Adiós, todo
Juanjo.
junto, pero el
Thank you.
futuro se decide hoy. Muchas
No sé si me
gracias.
escuchas. Sí, muchas gracias por tu
I know you
intervención.
can listen me.
Nos estamos quedando ya
You
sin
can
tiempo
hear me.
prácticamente
Thank you so
para
much for
nada.
the presentation, but we're
Esperamos
running
que
out
los
of
que estén
time.
interesados nos puedan contactar a través de la página web
I hope
y
you
del
can
correo
contact
electrónico, porque
us through our
hay
website
muchas
and our
preguntas
email
que se
because
están
there are
quedando en el
many
tintero.
questions
Estamos
that
prácticamente
we are
sin
not
tiempo
going
para
to be
poder
able
seguir.
to
No sé si hay alguna
respond
pregunta que
to.
se
I
quiera
don't know
hacer.
if there's
Tenemos
any
3
questions
minutos
that you
básicamente
would
para
like
poder
to
terminar.
pose
Si hay alguna
because we
pregunta
have
de
3
interés
minutes
que
before the end.
hayan hecho y que quiera hacer alguno de los...
Maybe we can deal with
pues,
one of the questions. No, yes, yes, we have received some questions, but we have 1 minute. 1 minute. Anyone here present in the room would like to ask a question? Because otherwise, what I would like to encourage you is to... People have sent in questions through the internet, for example. One are talking about digital skills, and here it is. What type of training will the NEED project be offering? You have a minute. What we want is to fill the gap between what the companies need and what students or people are able to offer. So it's going to be a flexible solution. Yes, that's right, a flexible solution. Well, in that case, that's perfect. Thank you very much. It's been brilliant. I'm sorry that we've run out of time. Please, everybody who is here,
Pedimos disculpas que nuestro compañero Javier, que no va a poder entrar al final por falta de tiempo, que iba a hacer un poco el cierre de la intervención.
I'd just like to apologize for our colleague who was not able to have the last person to join us. This was Javier Perianez, the vice president for the TIC. He was unable to join us for reasons of time. So I apologize, but through in the Funditech website, you will be able to contact him. I'm really sorry, Javier. We've run out of time. We're really sorry. It's getting worse because he's on mute as well. So anyway, thank you. I'm very sorry, everybody. It's a real shame, but we've had a great idea of what your NEED project covers. Thank you very much if you followed us at home or here live. Thank you very much.